Welcome to a special edition of City Talk, where we get to provide an up-close and dramatic look at a massive emergency exercise near the Colorado Springs Airport. I'm Jennifer Baker, and joining me now is Erin Duran with the Office of Emergency Management. Erin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we want to start by talking about how you were in charge of this whole exercise, which was called Skyfall. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's all about?
Sure. So our office, the Office of Emergency Management, got involved when the airport reached out to us. They are required to do a FAA exercise every 3 years. And so they wanted to make this year's exercise a little larger and involve more agencies. So our office took the lead in putting together a very large planning team from many different agencies. About 31 agencies were involved. And we spent the last 6 to 7 months working as a team to plan this mass casualty exercise that involved, again, about 31 agencies responding. We had 140 actor role players that simulated the casualty patients. 4 hospitals and Army Community Hospital on Fort Carson were all involved in accepting patients and having them come through their emergency rooms. There's a hazmat component with the fuel spill in the airplane, so it was just a very large, multifaceted exercise.
Obviously, a lot of work and planning went into this. Let's take a look now at all that happened the morning of Skyfall, even before the actual exercise took place. In this case, the more blood, the better. But the blood is actually makeup.
We have the different pallets, you do the different things for blood or for the bruises and for the cuts and laceration, and then we always like to say, hey, when in doubt, pour more blood on it.
Many of the people creating the burns and bruises have done this before, but some are just learning about what is called moulage.
Moulage is really just the makeup, the blood and guts that we pour on the patient to make it look a little more real.
Well, we have a couple of things. We have stage blood. This is Ben Nye stage blood. It's actually what they use in Hollywood. We also have this. This is it's like a makeup that's been mixed to look purplish. And so it's bruise powder, essentially. And then we also have charcoal powder. And the charcoal powder is to put on, it makes it look like someone has come out of in this case, a burning fuselage. And we can put it to their face or wherever to make it look like they've inhaled smoke inhalation problem, or that they have burns.
So we have different things from making bruises to burns to cuts, lacerations. We can even make it so bones sticking out.
All the gore is designed to make this huge emergency exercise as realistic as possible.
Medics don't see this every single day. They usually just see like sprained ankles or bruises or just minor things. So when you actually get to see the blood, the dripping from the ear, that kind of gives you ideas, say, oh, there's blood in the ear, maybe there's a head injury. So it's really good training because you got the visual aids there.
Just walking through and looking at some of these people that are made up as victims, they look very real.
Volunteers work hard to get these casualty actors ready.
Some of them you can knock out, like the first one we did just had a bruise to his forehead and like blood and air, so it takes like 2 minutes. But there's others, as you can probably see, depending on their injuries, with some of the burns, they can take 15, 20 minutes.
I'm going to take a casualty, and on his card it says that he has a left eye deformity with swelling and bruising, and he cannot walk. And I'm just going to cut his pants and just make up his legs so that it looks realistic.
And then they'll be ready to act like victims of a plane crash.
They're going to be anywhere from unconscious, laying there, and to screaming, hollering, grabbing the medic, saying, hey, help my buddy, help my buddy. Everybody has a role. All the medics, the moulage victims, they'll have numbers, but they also, if you see, they have like a little chest necklace on them, and that actually gives them some of their acting cues, what they should be doing.
This is just letting us know how we're supposed to act and react when the responders come up to us. If we're going to be alert or oriented or dizzy and don't know what's going on. My injury, I got bruised on my left face, and then I got wounded left ear.
Dozens of people are gearing up to respond.
We got 46 agencies involved here today. 5 area hospitals, Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, and of course the emergency management group from our city, and so many others.
And getting all those folks ready to go is partly the job of the Salvation Army.
We're doing the mass feeding, hydration, and snacks throughout the day, which allows everybody to just remain sustained while doing the exercise. This is very important for us. It allows us as well to practice, train some new people, as well as just be a part of the community.
Now it's time for the emergency responders in our community to come together and see how well they can handle this massive and crucial exercise called Skyfall.
That's really what helps us when we respond to a real incident. Is it's not the first time we've seen each other, it's not the first time we've responded together, and so that's really the true importance of this type of an exercise.
Welcome back to a special edition of City Talk. We've been talking about all that's involved in preparing for a mass casualty response in Colorado Springs, which recently took place near the airport. Now we take you to the mock Mayday call and the dramatic response.
The exercise started about 9 o'clock with a call from a Delta aircraft that they were having a problem.
Exercise, control report 10. We're receiving word from the tower that they've lost contact with the inbound Delta alert aircraft in 35 right.
And that initiates what we call an Alert 2 status. The plane went down with a fire.
That fire is the first challenge of the exercise, and local crews are ready.
So the ARF trucks from Peterson Air Force Base. Peterson Air Force Base came and put the fire out.
And putting that fire out involves getting up close to the fuselage, with firefighters even tackling the flames inside. Next, a bus serves as the airplane's passenger cabin, so responders can remove the victims. Then the rest of the actors arrive on scene to take their places around the crash site.
CSFD, the police department, formed a unified command to secure the scene. Those first arriving companies began to triage patients, putting them in different categories. Red, which is our most critical, to yellow to green, which are the walking wounded. And so they moved them to an assembly area, and then they started triaging them out from there.
This part takes some time and coordination, but first responders work fast.
Okay, I need you to walk over there, okay? Get that way. In about 2 hours from the time that the plane was crashed, we actually had all the patients en route to the local hospitals.
The exercise will continue at the hospitals, but at this location, the hard work is over, and it's time to start evaluating.
It was definitely successful. It allowed us an opportunity to work on multi-agency response, multi-coordination, to put into place current plans that we have in place for an incident like this, as well as evaluate and hopefully update some of those plans as well in the future.
Everybody knows each other, we've practiced, we've worked out the communication bugs, we've landed helicopters, an incredible opportunity to work with our airport folks. If we ever have a real life incident, it'll run smoothly.
Our in-depth look at the emergency exercise known as Skyfall continues now as we follow the victims, who are actors, as they're taken to the hospital.
About a year and a half ago, we decided that we actually wanted to up the game and plan a really big exercise so we could really test our own system.
These actors are providing a major test as they pretend to be patients in critical condition after a plane crash. They're loaded into an ambulance and taken to a runway where a Black Hawk helicopter is waiting.
We're talking extremely critical patients, extremely critical trauma, extremely critical medical. In this situation, we'd be transporting typically burn patients maybe to a burn center, a level 1 trauma center, or a level 2 trauma center.
Now the transport begins, with the Black Hawk full of patients and the medical crew, still working, of course, to help the victims during the flight from the crash scene to Memorial Hospital.
It's something that is exciting. It's something that's an important part of making sure your hospital is ready, and an important part of ongoing training, honestly, for your facility and for your staff.
Dr. Andrew Burson is one of the people coordinating this part of the Skyfall exercise. He's hoping it gives Memorial Hospital staff important training.
Most of the people that are going to be providing the care for the simulated patients today aren't really going to know what is coming in, and that's on purpose. We want really this to be as real as possible so we can find out how we're going to react if something similar would happen.
One thing the staff does know is that they must treat these actors as if they're real patients in need of immediate care.
This is important to test the ability for us to absorb a large amount of patients while being able to maintain normal operations.
In this actor's case, the operation is over and hospital staff will now help him get settled in a recovery room.
It's a huge learning experience and educational day for us.
Once they move all of the exercise patients through, it'll be time to review the decisions made by these doctors and nurses.
We're really going to drill down and really look at how we did and learn from the experience.
Back in the studio now, I'm joined once again by Aaron Duran, who led this amazing effort. It was so interesting to see that exercise take place, and hopefully folks at home are interested with all of the footage that we got and were able to show that effort. I know you've had a little bit of time to reflect on the exercise. What kind of feedback are you getting so far?
So far, we're getting some really good feedback. There were so many different aspects of the exercise, so many different agencies, participating locations, that we're really still focusing on collecting that feedback. But I think overall the exercise allowed the different agencies to meet the needs and objectives that they lined out.
And what do you do as that feedback continues to trickle in? What do you do with the information? What's next?
We get the information from a variety of sources. We've asked for written feedback. We will have several meetings with the various agencies to discuss as a whole how the various aspects of the exercise unfolded. And then we end up documenting that in a report that we will use for our agency to track any action items that we have and improvement planning so that we can be better prepared to respond to any emergency.
All right, well, thank you for your time and all that information. We thank you for joining us, and we thank you for watching our extensive coverage of this large and critical event in Colorado Springs that did provide some really important experience to several of our area agencies. I'm Jennifer Baker, and we leave you with a few more images now of Skyfall on this special edition of City Talk.